lot of times when people aren't being represented properly and they just do things because morally, this is the correct thing to do. So I'm just going to pay it. Well, before you do that, let's make sure that if you're going to do this, if you're going to pay it, let's make sure you're going to get the result that you want. No one wants to pay something and not have a lift to their score. Maybe you need to take a different tactic. Okay. Everyone needs a, what you said, credit checkup. I like that. Before you go cutting checks, get a credit checkup.
As always, we like to invite all our members of the Entrepreneur Chamber, all our constituents, and all our listeners. And today we have a very special interview with someone that we know. Before we go any further, though, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is SOSA. Follow me on IG as Cap OG. My good brother here, Winston IJUST McIntosh. Follow him on all social media platforms using that same name, Winston IJUST McIntosh. And today we have a special guest, kind of like a reverb, coming back into the fold. My man, Andrew Smith, a great brother, a brother that's going to talk to us today about credit and about getting our credit right. And today, Mr. Andrew Smith, who is the owner of Trinity Credit Solutions. Without further ado, Mr. Andrew Smith. How you doing, good brother?
Doing good, man. Good to be amongst you, man. Good to be on the chamber here with you.
Good, man. So, we always like to start off with the easy lob question of, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm the owner of Trinity Solutions. We're the largest credit repair and mortgage referral company in Trenton. We've got about, where are we at now? Maybe 70 some odd affiliates where we specifically work in getting people, A, get your credit right, and B, get you out into the home that you want to get. If you need a mortgage lender, we've got them for you. If you need a realtor, we've got them on deck for you. If you need a little bit of advice on how to get your credit to the point where you need to get it to, that's what I'm here for. That you need to get you to that goal that you're looking for. We have all the items in place to help get you there. So that's it, basically. What else do you want to know?
I think real quick, because we all like to kind of know, like, what made you get into business? Like, what made you, first and foremost, what made you get into business? And secondly, what made it be credit as the vehicle that you wanted to drive to push you and yourself and your family forward?
Okay, good question. What made me want to get into business for myself? I'm a father of four, okay? And I could not take the fact that someone else could, affect the fact of, affect my kid's lifestyle and so on and so forth. I've been in a situation where a company's been downsized, so on and so forth. You go from making a nice, comfy 6-digit living to zero, and you're having to start over. I cannot have that happen again. So we figured, well, we're going to go out on our own. We're going to sit there and build something, so that, when I finally keel over, there's something left for the kids. And there's an ongoing thing for them. What made me decide credit? It's simple. Credit is the basic building block of anything that you need. That is the number one hindrance that's keeping people from doing things out there. I go out and I speak with people. We went to a party this weekend. Matter of fact, they had a caterer. Young man put out a great spread. Great. I'm a fat guy. They had me eating the greens. I'm eating all sorts of stuff. Oh, it's delicious. I went and talked to him. My friend, where do you cook at? He said, no, I got a regular job. I work for the state. I said, why? Get one of those little barbecue carts or whatever the heck it is. No tow behind my truck. What's stopping you? The sheepish look. Well, I got to get the credit together for $8,000. Call me Monday. There shouldn't be a reason. Credit shouldn't be the reason that's stopping you from trying to reach your goals. He's a young man who knows where he's going to be in a couple of years when he gets that situated. This guy's cooking is off the hook. So that stops people from getting a lot of things. It stops people from going into business for themselves. There's a lot of people riding around with 200,000-mile cars out there just because they can't go to the dealership. You know what I mean? Credit is the block for a lot of people. And, so I figured, what's the best way to help someone achieve their dreams? Help them get their credit right.
That's a good answer. That's definitely relevant too, because I myself know quite a few people that is a reason what stopped them. They're looking to get into business, but they don't have their credit right. And that's kind of like the step, that's kind of like the first step. Kind of explain, like, what would you do kind of step A, A to Z to get them on their feet and help them, actually, fulfill that dream of ownership, business ownership.
Okay. Well, pretty simple. You walk into my office or you call me on the phone, something along those lines. First thing we got to do, it's like I'm a doctor.
Ooh, I like that.
A credit doctor.
I like
got to see the
X-rays.
Credit. They already took that line. I tried it. Credit checkup. That's true, right? I tried credit doctor. Somebody already taken that. No, but you want to see the X-rays. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull your credit report. I don't care what story you said, I think this was this, or what was that. There's always some kind of monster hiding under the bed that you don't know. Let's pull your credit report, break it down and explain everything to you. I don't assume that you know. A lot of people think that they know a lot of good information. And, a lot of times that first conversation is correcting some not so great ideas or thoughts, and getting them on where they need to be. If you knew better, you do better. All right. So if we get your credit report pulled out, first thing we want to do is make sure, let's see, are your balances under control? How's your current credit? Let's look at your past payment history. If your past payment history is great, you've never missed any payments, no 30 days, 60 days, 90 days late, there's no charge-off sitting there rearing their ugly head, then it's going to be a pretty easy job. But if we look at it and we find that there's some errors, some problems in your past, okay, we did collections for 15, 20 years. People have problems. It's fine. They can all be addressed. I'll let you know exactly the best way to address them. Okay. Second step is, all right, now we got to make sure that now we've got all the bad stuff off of there. We got to make sure your good stuff is in a position that where you're fundable. Okay. We don't want to have all your balances ran up to the sky. Okay. We want to make sure that the type of credit that you have portrays the person that you're trying to be. A lot of people don't understand this or don't get it. You get on Credit Karma and it starts throwing out all these little Credit One cards or let's see, America card, all these those second chance cards.
Right.
A lot of times you don't know if that's how you're starting out and building your file. You're kind of capping yourself, because now when it's time to go to Chase or it's time to go knock on Amex's door, they're looking at you and saying, this profile is, I don't know if this profile is to our liking, so to speak. There's a way that you have to build the building for it to stand and hold a lot of weight. We assist with that. If it's a situation where you have a lot of people where they have nothing on their file, I just got a great idea. All right, well, we'll get you started out with products that'll get you started out the right way. All right, it's not going to be putting a lot of junk on your credit report. Okay. Once we get your score to a certain point, everybody thinks we'll have to have an 800 score. No, it's nice to have. Somebody will, isn't it? It's nice to have. No, but it's not necessary. Okay. Get yourself to a nice, if we get you to a 700, 751, wherever we get you, all the doors at that point in time are open. Okay.
Right.
Once the doors are open with your personal credit,
right,
and we can get you some solid, cards that way. Are you ready? No, you don't want to put this on your personal credit. Right. You want to buy that barbecue rig, right? You put $9 grand, $8 grand on your personal credit. Now you got a problem. Just sank your utilization, dropped your score. Now you take your good personal credit, and you'll find just how easy it is to get business credit that doesn't show on your personal side. And now that's what you use to go out and get the things and actually get your funding going and get your business going. That's what you use, okay? It's a couple-step process.
Let me ask you this then, man, because being that you brought up like Credit Karma, if I'm the same person that SOSA is coming into your office,
right.
Like Credit Karma versus Experian, your Credit Karma credit score can be 800, and then your Experian credit score can be, 750. It's normally not too far off, but if you would, what's the difference between like pulling your credit with Credit Karma versus with like Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax directly?
Okay, great question, and that's one that everybody really should know. Credit Karma and any of these little, pay $1, we'll give you your credit report type of places. They give you a Vantage score. Okay. Vantage is not worth the paper is printed out on. They created that scoring model because it's cheap for them being the credit bureaus. Okay, it might be 30 cents a pull, something crazy like that. The information that you get from Experian, Equifax, TransUnion directly, That, and even that's FICO. That's what anyone of any type of, you're getting a car, they're pulling your FICO. You're getting a house, they're pulling your FICO 5. There's about 10 different FICO scores. All right. So even when you're getting it directly from the big bureaus, you'll see some variation. All right. It's the same information on your credit report. Your credit report, the items on your credit file will be the same, whether it's Credit Karma telling it to you, Equifax telling it to you, TransUnion telling it to you. The information is the same. It's just the scoring model that they use weighs all those things different. Okay. Typically, a lot of times you'll think you're a rock star on Credit Karma. And then when they pull a FICO score on you, you're 30, 40 points lower, and now you look silly. Okay.
Right.
What you want to do is know what you're trying to do and then go check the appropriate scoring model for that.
Okay. So that's important. So I like that. So you're saying, like, if you're going to go buy a house, you want to look at what's the model, basically, what's the range? I need 7 something or whatever it is to X amount, or 680 to whatever it is. If I'm going to get a car, hey, I might not maybe need it as much, it doesn't have to be as good maybe. So I think that that's something good for our listeners, because basically you're breaking down what you need, what you scored, what you wanted to be at based upon what you're trying to purchase, if I heard you correctly.
It's almost a look, yes, but I'll take it a step further. Example, if you're buying a home, but 9 times out of 10, they're going to be pulling a FICO 5 for you. Okay, that's one of the oldest scoring models. Okay, there are several. So when you go on Equifax, Experian, or even if you go to an outside source, I use 9 FICOs for a lot of times. It's a different company, and it'll give you all sort of your different FICO scores. So you know what your auto score is going to be. You know what your mortgage score is going to be. You know what your insurance. How about that? Your insurance score is going to be. All right. You can act accordingly. All right. So I just bought my wife a car. You look at Credit Karma, it says one thing. You go on FICO. In our case, our FICO is higher than what Credit Karma says. So that happens. That happens too. Because they'll take different look as far as inquiries and things like that. Okay. Right. So the solid 7 something. You look on Credit Karma because of inquiries and things, she might be lower. All right, so you have to go and look at the score that goes along with what you're trying to get, so that so you can act accordingly and know what you have to work on. Okay.
And that happened to me before too. Like, I remember one time I went to go purchase a car, and I told the guy, "Yeah, I'm probably like 780 or something." He was like, "Bro, you're like an 810 or something like that." I was like, "Oh, okay." So it actually worked in my favor. But I do what you're saying. Now, what's the difference between now, because Credit Karma, they do have some good tools, right?
Sure.
So what's the difference of someone coming to you as opposed to, trying to handle it themselves, like on Credit Karma or other websites?
Credit Karma has some good tools. I'm not mad at Credit Karma. One of the first videos I ever did, I jumped all over Credit Karma. I'm not mad at Credit Karma because Credit Karma it's on your phone constantly, and it's got people at least thinking about credit. All right. It's got you at least looking like, yeah, man, out of sight, out of mind. It's got you thinking about it, which is good. I'm not mad at it. What I do have an issue with it is nothing's free. Okay. Yeah. Here's what Credit Karma's job is. You think, Credit Karma is there to give me my credit report whenever I want it. No. Credit Karma is there to sell you credit cards and to sell you information. That's what Credit Karma is. How can it afford to keep giving you, here, pull your credit report, pull your credit report, pull your credit report. You're giving them something too. Okay. And that's one thing, me being the conspiracy theory person that I am, that I'm not a huge fan of. What do you get different from coming to myself? All right. You get explanation of things. Credit Karma may tell you this is this and that's that. Gives you a nice little slidey graph or whatever the heck it is. But a lot of times you may not understand what's behind it or the reason why. I was a hard-headed kid. I needed to know why X was Z before I took it to task.
As far as business credit is concerned, right? So what do you suggest? All right, so now they have the credit right. So now my credit's right. Now I want to start the business, right? Now, do you suggest when I go try to get funding now as a business, not as myself? So should I have, do you think that it's okay if I use my home address, or should I use a different address? Should I have a different phone number? How do I look better? Like, what do you suggest to look better, to the lender?
You just hit on one of the biggest things, man. I have a checklist that I hand out to people when they come in with that question. think of it like this. These companies, they want to give you money. What? Yeah, they want to give you money. They want you to take this credit. They want you to build with it. Why? Because they're going to charge you the interest on it. And as you grow, you'll borrow more money from them. They want to give you money. All you have to do is not give them red flags back. When you're making a company, do it the right way. All right. Your initial structure is going to either make you or break you. Okay. When you set up in the beginning, first thing you said, well, hey, and this is something interesting because COVID brought this around. We're in a big reset. The economy, the way this country's working with business and stuff is never going to be the same. It's never going to be how it was a couple of years ago.
I agree.
All right.
This is the post-pandemic.
Yep, exactly. This is where we are.
Yeah.
There are the boom of home-based businesses and things has taken off. Anybody that's listening to this podcast obviously has some type of entrepreneurial bent. Make yourself a company. Get some kind of a company. Find something that you can do on the side. It's going to be something that's going to be vital come soon, I think. But when you do so, you got to limit those red flags. You don't want to have your home-based business based out of your home. Mm-hmm. Well, why? Okay. Well, I won't get too deep into this is for the paying customers. But what I will say is this. A lot of these credit applications that you're going to be doing and filling out are going to be self-stated income. Okay. So when you go on there, normally we'll guide you towards where the limits are and so on and so forth. But look, I'll take my own company, for example. Okay. When we first started out, we might have started out right in my house. That's exactly where most companies start out. But as you grow, now we have employees. Now we're bringing in money. Oh my goodness, we're successful. You may say, all right, what's your earnings for the year? We made 280. Okay, how many employees do you have? We have 8. What's your address? Blankety blank, blank, blank in Hamilton. All right, so you mean to say you have 8 employees working in your house? That doesn't add up. Mm-hmm. Red flag. You just got yourself messed up with it. Right. Okay. Get yourself a virtual address. Don't go to the post office and get one there. That's going to be a red flag too. But there are several companies, Regis being one of them, that will supply you for a small fee a legitimate business address. Okay, depending on the business that you have, you may not want one of your clients knocking on your door at 3 in the morning. Okay, have a virtual address. Same thing with a phone number. I'm doing $300,000 worth of business. What's my phone number? 609-555. You're doing all that business through your cell phone?
On your cell phone, right.
That's a red flag. Whether you're doing it or not, that's a red flag. Go to Ring Central or go to any other of these companies. Get yourself a business number. Google Voice even. It's free. Okay? Get yourself a number that's set up on that side. All right? When you do that, oh, okay. Also, you need a website. A ton of the business is done out here. It's done online. I'm online, so on and so forth. What's your website? drewfixescredit@gmail.com. No, that's not going to work. That's not a professional email. All right. Joe loves cars at 305. No, that's not going to work.
Joe loves cars.
Whatever it is, get yourself a professional.com, .net. These are the things that they look for. Okay. And you'll find a surprise that if you have your personal credit correct, when you go in there with your business documents, you have your EIN, you have your DUNS number already set up. This is all in a package that we create for people. But you have all that down there, you give your IDs, you set the bank around. The banker's going to run your credit. Don't be surprised when you walk out with some funding right then and there because your personal credit's fine. Okay. And you've shown that you can create a business, A to Z, all your paperwork's right. Do not be surprised. Would you be surprised? I don't think you were surprised. So you can walk right out with funding for day one. Doesn't have to be an aged company.
You come in with your business credit, you kind of have all your ducks lined in a row. You have an office that's not out of your home. You have a separate phone number outside of your cell phone number. You're saying that it's easy to get funding, even if your company's only been in business for a year.
I've gotten funding for companies that have been in business for 3 days. And that's only because it took 2 days to get to the bank. If your personal credit, everybody, here's a myth about business credit. It's not a myth, but it's a misconception. A lot of people think, I have 2 types of clients. And I've been both types in my lifetime. So that's all I can say this.
Right.
You have one client that says, I need business funding. Why? Well, I messed up my personal credit, but I want to use my business credit to get things that okay. And then you have the other type of person that just has their credit in a row and they just need funding to get their business up and running.
You get the business up and going, right?
Right, exactly. Both parties can be helped, but it's a lot easier to get your funding if your personal credit's in a row. Why would you not want to have your business personal credit in a row anyway? Your personal credit's on point, you can legitimately, with a properly structured company, you can walk into any bank with your $2,000 to open up your account. You sit there, make pleasant conversation and say, you know what, I'm going to need to get boxes. I'm going to be buying a trailer. I need to get computers. What type of funding can we offer? And when they say funding, in the beginning, you're not getting a $100,000 check to loan to you. No, but a lot of people think that. The funding that you're going to get for a new company, you're going to be winding up getting lines of credit in a business name, God willing, 0% interest for 12 months.
Right.
That's how you start.
Right.
Okay. And then you can grow from there.
So typically how much does the company, like if you're coming in there, you've been in business, 3 days, like you said, what's the most typically that have you seen that a company can get?
I had a client that started out, again, new company. It's one of mine. I'm good all the way across the country. I was in North Carolina recently. We were able to get company started that weekend, literally that weekend. We got them $40,000 from Navy Federal that weekend. The company isn't a month open yet. Now, did they have good credit? Yes. Were they in the military? Yes. So that made it an easy in to get into Navy Federal. Right. Did they have any craziness on their credit report? No. But they got it. Days. Now, there's a lift where some people want loans. I can understand that. Now, for a loan, you do need to have some history. Okay. Typically, they want to see
Drew, if I may, before you go any further, because you just brought up a dynamic right now. There's loans, lines of credit, and credit cards. So before you go into the loans, as you are doing that, can you just elaborate on the difference between the three as you were speaking about, the loans, and then at the end of that, just break down the difference between the three, if you may.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, mainly when we're doing it here, credit, we'll start from the top. The most common source of funding that people are going to get is credit cards. It is what it is. When you see all these people on YouTube and all these, gurus, we'll get you $100,000 in funding. Yes, it's $100,000 in funding, but what it really is just going to be a series of credit cards. Maybe they'll get you into the Amex suite, or maybe you'll get set up with Chase or whatever the heck it is. You're just going to get several credit cards, and if your credit's decent, you'll get 0% interest, and you'll be able to use that, and be able to build your business or whatever it is. Lines of credit, that's more for an established company when you have assets that you borrow against. Okay. Most of what people do is they'll either get credit cards or they'll be able to, if they're established, now you can get into loans. All right. My specialty is in real estate. All right. So the only ones I can really speak about are real estate, talking about maybe hard money against the property, or if you do have an established company that's been around for a few years, okay, and you have your business scores up to a certain point, then you'd be able to borrow, hey, I need to take out a $50,000 loan. I have this as collateral. I have this as this. This is my personal worth. I want to have it in business name rather than PG, right. PG being personal guarantee. That's higher level stuff that you have to have a legitimate business for a couple of years and assets, and they're going to want to see paperwork and so on and so forth. Can it happen? Yeah. That's when you're really rolling. If you're just looking for immediate funding or something along those lines, 90% of the business is going to be getting you set up with the lines of credit and then having you run that way with it.
A person may walk inside of a bank and say, yeah, I want to get a line of credit, although they're thinking about in their mind really a credit card, business credit card, and then get denied because they're literally asking for a line of credit, not knowing that there's a difference between the line of credit and an actual credit card.
But you can do something called a HELOC, where you have a line of credit against your property using the equity that's on it. That's a way of accessing funds, all right, without redoing the whole mortgage and so on and so forth. you know, and you're only paying for what you're actually using. So
for our listeners and our constituents, what he's saying is a HELOC, that's a home equity line, which is different than refinancing your home. That's what he was saying. If you don't, when you're refinancing your home, you're basically doing a whole new loan where you're going to get a whole new interest rate, based on whatever the interest rate is at that time. Where home equity line is, that's more or less the equity that you already have established in your home. You could borrow against that line, and like he said, you could use that, put that to your own personal use, or invest it or reinvest it, or however you deem fit with that. So I thought that was real good. I thought that was that was real important. So the guy with the Navy Credit Union, the 40,000, that was a line of credit, or that was a credit card?
That was a credit card. That was a credit card, flagship line. Matter of fact, it's the name of the card. And I was even shocked. No, I'm just kidding. No, but the score warranted it. The score and the credit file warranted it. And boom, he was very, very, very happy. So
I think that was a good point, and a great example to bring up, because even like the last few episodes and the last few guests that we had, man, we were speaking about misnomers and misinformation that circulates in our community and don't get verified. And a lot of times that stops us from doing a lot of things because of the misinformation or the misnomer. So I think the way you just broke down that answer kind of, dispelled one of those misnomers, man. So that was an excellent point.
Yeah.
So Drew, let me ask you a question, man. What qualifications do you have as a credit repair specialist?
Okay. Well, we had to get certified way back when we first started this business, which is pretty cool. Credit repair, and here's something that I'll tell you. Is there a huge, you have to have this diploma, that diploma, so on and so forth? It's not. There isn't, which is why you have to be careful with who you deal with, all right? The best way to find out something, ask questions. Ask questions, throw things at people, and see how they answer. Because anyone can sit up on YouTube for 5 minutes and come up with something. Anybody that's a salesman can come up with anything, and it'll sound, oh, okay, that's great. Credit repair is not, how do I put this? I don't want to say it's not hard, but it's simple, okay? There's basic laws that you can learn. There's basic information that carries for everyone, from here to here. It applies to everyone, okay? You can delete my whole file and I can be at a 800 tomorrow running from that person, okay? It took you a little bit of time to get your credit report where it is on the bad side. Someone's telling you they can get it from here to here in 3 days and to pay them $1,000 right away to do it. You might want to stop and think, and maybe you just want to talk to somebody first. Plus, I guess you could say my history, man. I've been on both sides of the fence, all right? I've been the bad guy for about 20 years, all right? I was the bill collector for a very long time, so I know how the bad stuff happens. And I've been trained as far as with everybody. Everyone has mentors. I have mentors in this company or in this field that have taught me how to be on the good side, all right? And through experience, helping people, seeing what works, knowing what process to take to get you from point A to point B. That's, your certification.
I think that gives you a unique perspective too, being that you work in credit collections. So it kind of gives you kind of like the both, you're kind of seeing it from both ends. And then, you get into business where you need some credit. So you kind of get both perspectives. So I think that right there, creates a lot of experience. Just to piggyback off of Winston's question. So when you said that you asked a person questions, like what would be like maybe three questions or 5 questions, that you would ask someone to kind of discern if they're legit or not, or if they're going to be someone that could actually help you or not?
How does your credit repair, what is it based off? Let me say it like that. What's it based off? What do you do? How's it work? Oh, well, what I do is I get these great 609 letters and I send them out to the creditors and we demand that they prove this, that, and the other thing. And if they can't, they take it off your credit report right then and there. Boom. Right. Run away. That's not right. How we do it, I'm going to sit here and we say that all this stuff isn't yours. All you have to do is get a police report and we say that it's all fraudulent. It comes right off. Run. But if it's something where you legitimately did it, 900 letters sent out with all these fancy words is not going to take it off. All right. The vast majority of what we do here is we negotiate pay for deletes for people. Okay. That's why I love collections. This is where the collection background comes into play. Mm-hmm. I'm talking to me from 20 years ago. I know what he wants to hear. We sit there, we negotiate back and forth, and we find out how much will you let my guy go for. And I don't mean pay it and it says zero and still says charge off on there. No, zero, poof, going like it never happened. That way you get the lift and score that you're looking for, and you don't have to worry about this coming back 3 months from now because the original guy just said, the heck with this letter, send it back. And they sold it to another agency and it's back on your report in 3 months. Meanwhile, you've lost 3 months of pay.
That literally happened to me. It didn't come back on my credit report, but I wind up selling it. And I think you and I even spoke about this before, Drew. And then it was more like I should have paid it, or at least have it where they were not going to report it on my credit report as a settled account. That it would have just, like you said, poof, as if it never existed. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's a ton of things that people don't even know that you can do or get done when it comes down to your credit.
That's right.
Well, that's what I'm here for. And not for nothing, now that I'm not on that side of the fence anymore, the collection people rely on the fact that you don't know everything. Okay. Believe me, it used to be a lot worse for the internet. There's still a lot of times when people aren't being represented properly and they just do things because morally this is the correct thing to do. So I'm just going to pay it. Well, before you do that, let's make sure that if you're going to do this, if you're going to pay it, let's make sure you're going to get the result that you want. No one wants to pay something and not have a lift to their score. Maybe you need to take a different tactic. Okay. Everyone needs a credit checkup. I like that. Before you go cutting checks, get a credit checkup.
So realistically, how long would it take for my credit score to improve, whether that's moderately or significantly, let's say once I retain your services?
Give me 3 days. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll give you 3 hours.
3 hours. Before this phone call.
Give me your money and I'll make it happen.
Get done in 3 hours, 3 minutes.
It all depends on the situation. This is one of the tools that we give everybody. Depends on what your problem is. I'm happy when I get certain calls. I get some calls. I don't know what's going on. First thing I do is I pull up the phone, pull up the report, and I see their problem isn't any collection items. It's your credit cards ran up. Okay, great. That's an easy answer. I can go and see when your credit card posts. All right, your credit card's going to post on the 24th. I'll come back and say, listen, I can get you 100 points on your credit score in a week. Would you like that? Yes. All right. All you have to do is pay your Chase card. Really? Yeah, it's only $300, but you have it right. It's a $300 limit. You maxed out your low credit card. Oh, Drew, that's awesome. When will that happen? Well, if you pay it today, it'll upgrade on the 24th and you don't need my service. Oh, thank you. Bless you. That's a time specifically when I can tell you exactly when it's going to happen, how much your points are going to go up, and X, Y, and Z. Now, if it's a situation where you have a late payment on your account and that tanked your score 80 points, now that's something that requires me negotiating with the client, okay? There's no guarantee. If it's a legitimate late, hey, man, I just forgot to pay the car note that month. Okay, I appreciate you telling me that. I've got some tactics I may take to try and get that removed. But ultimately, it's going to weigh upon the original creditor if they want to do that, okay? Everything works in 30-day cycles. So I'm going to attack them, see what they say, and we're both going to be sitting there like this for 28 more days, okay? Right. If you have nothing reporting on your credit report and we give you something to help report, guess what? I guarantee your score will go up when that reports. If it's 30 days, 45 days, that's a guarantee. You paid that credit card off? Okay, it'll post on this date. I guarantee it'll do that. Okay. You know, something like that that's got a finite thing, I can give you a definite. Right. Something where we're working and we got our hands in there, and we're arguing over somebody else, then there's no way it's telling. Okay.
Yeah. If you got some situations, you know what? It took you a long time to get this credit score as bad as it is. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take a little bit of time to get it back up. So don't expect it to happen overnight, because you certainly didn't get this beautiful 520 overnight.
It's beautiful 520.
Sometimes, and I tell you what, sometimes I tell people they're not ready for me yet. And I don't say it like that to be cocky. When I look at a credit
That's
report,
being honest, man.
no, it's being honest.
That's being honest.
Like, right. Like, I'm not going to take your money because you're going to be here a while.
Yeah.
Right.
You might as well do something here, do this, that, and the third, and come back. If not, you're going to be, you're going to basically, you're going to be funding me for a little while.
Exactly. There you go. Listen, I walk around this city, man. I'm an old guy now. I don't need somebody jumping on me. I'm going to tell you how it is.
Yeah.
Right.
And if I sit there and I see what your problem is your problem is really you just need to pay this, and this down.
Right.
You don't need me to do that. Do that first.
Right.
And once that part of the issue's done, now you can come and you can pay me X, Y, Z, and I'll negotiate out the other stuff. But take care of your easy problems first. You don't need me to tell you to pay Capital One. I'm telling you to pay them. Now go pay them. And once you do that, now come to me and I'll get my hands dirty for what I need to do. But a lot of times if you just have some simple stuff, forcing them to validate and prove the debt after X amount of years, when they know that they're not really going to get any money out of you, that they can't force you to pay it. I'll just put it that way. When an account's out of statute, it's a lot easier to get it deleted from your credit report, basically through your credit report. Their job is to tell the truth. If what's on your credit report isn't the truth, then you have the right to fight it, to get it removed. Well, by the time an account's out of statute, it's been sold to a collection agency probably multiple times. Well, hold on, sir. You're trying to collect a debt that's more than 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
FCRA states this account's out of statute. This shouldn't be showing on my credit report anymore. Oh, I'm sorry. And it goes away. Now, what happens? They send it back to the original creditor. They'll probably send it out to another agency, XYZ. What do? They'll do the same thing.
It's a lot of information out there. So do you think, so if an account's in collections, should we pay that or no?
Depends. Everybody wants a clear cut yes or no. Depends on your situation. This is how I talk to people when they come in. It's the 11th hour. You want to get this house that you and your wife love. The only item that's stopping you is an old gym membership that was sold to whomever, LVNV funding, that you've been arguing with for years. Drew, I got to get into this house. Okay.
I got you.
The quickest way to do that is I can pick up the phone right now. I can negotiate a pay for delete. It'll be off your credit report within 30 days, but I'll have them send a letter in within 10 that your lender will be able to use. And boom,
so that's not really going to help your credit, but that will.
No,
that if you're trying to get a house, right? Underwriting, the title company. Hey, listen, before we do anything, this guy's got to pay these 2 collection accounts he's got on there, right? But normally you're saying that no, like let's just say you just for your credit purpose improving your score, you're saying that that's not necessarily necessary, but your circumstance might dictate that you pay that collection account.
A pay for delete is always, if you don't take anything out of this call, a pay for deletion is always the best way to go. Why? Because it will not come back ever. And 2, they're agreeing to remove it and delete it from your credit report, which means within the next billing or within the next credit cycle, you will get a lift to your score. That's top tier, okay? After that comes all the dispute work and so on and so forth. I have a lot of clients that say, well, we come in here, listen, I need to be ready to go by such and such a date. I'll flat out tell them, well, I'm not even going to bother disputing the file. I'm going to go negotiate. I'm going to get you your numbers. I'm going to get you out of here so you can go buy your house. Thank you, Drew. And they're one that, what we call them one-shot wonders. Boom, boom, you pay it, pull the credit report, it's off, go get your house. Now, sometimes pride cometh and you want to just, I'm not paying that. I know that that's incorrect. I want to dispute it. Great. And I can do that too. You have to think about how your lender thinks about it. Would you lend someone 300 grand if you see they have all of these small accounts that were unpaid?
Right.
I like Drew about you and how Trinity Solutions, you gave 2 examples where you basically meet them where they're at, or meet the clients or the potential customer where they're at, versus, you know what, I'm gonna run you right through the ringer, like SOSA was saying earlier, man. You're gonna help fund me for the next 7 months. Like that's honesty right there, man. Like you're meeting them where they're at. Some people, like you say, you give them advice that can help them and may not even charge them. And then that's the type of person that say, you know what, when times do get rough, or if I do get myself in trouble, what's that guy name? Oh yeah, Drew. I'm going back to him because I remember he helped me. So I think that's a good business model, like, versus telling somebody, taking advantage of people who may be desperate to get a house. Like, if they come and I'm trying to get this house next week, they kind of may be in a desperate situation. And some people, like you said, could take advantage of them at that point because they know that those people are desperate. So, I think for all our members out there, when you're looking to get your credit restored, you got to take those two valid points that the brother is going to meet you where you're at. He's not just going to try and take your money and just walk you through processes that are unnecessary. So I think that was dope, man.
It's like solving their problem is primary, and making the money is secondary.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The more people the more problems you can solve, the money's just going to come because
That's it. That's it. You'd be surprised how many times I'll get calls on my personal. I pick up the phone. It's somebody I talked to. That was a client talked to 6 months ago. Oh, hey, Mr. Drew, you remember? Sweetheart, I don't. But we'll sit there and we'll talk. Oh, okay, now. Okay, I want you to talk to my sister. Can you help out this and this? If you just do the right thing, the money comes. I'm not worried. The money comes. You just got to do the right thing, because in this industry, there's a lot of people that'll try and sell you a dream because then everyone that you're talking to is a person in need.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. And when you got somebody, that's somebody putting extra trust in you, man. We got somebody that is in need. You have to do the best that you can for them. That's
and also too. I was thinking too, like as you were saying, and as Winston was, what I was, was asking that question. Those are the type of people that we like to bring to the Entrepreneur Chamber. This is a community that's about empowering other people, right? It's all about empowerment. So you're not going to be empowering people if you're just trying to make a dollar the whole time. The money will come, but the real power and the way that we're all going to kill this epidemic, this wealth gap epidemic that we have, is if we all work together. And so to me, I love what you said, and I think that was very profound what you said, and that's exactly what we stand for. That's exactly what my brother IJUST. We got on this endeavor. This is what's our vision, and this is the type of people that we want to bring on, people that's in line and in lockstep with our vision to help our community. So I thought that was real dope what you said.
You're trying to build a community. This is you're only as strong as your weakest link, man. So if you can give some information and something that you're expert in, and that helps pick this person up. All right, great. Now this one can help pick this one up. Hey, great, man. You just got funded on your business. Awesome, great, man. Now you opened up a little store. All right, you did this, you did that. Everyone, as they climb, that's raising everyone up, man. That's one of the best things you can do for somebody, is to give them and teach them a way that they can bring themselves up.
And so there you have it, members of the Entrepreneur Chamber. Drew Smith, Mr. Andrew Smith with Trinity Solutions. I mean, listen, like the brother Sosa said, we're bringing people on that have integrity. We're bringing people on that we've used ourselves. I called this brother before. He gave me advice, told me what to do, and didn't charge me a dime. And then I called him back again, and he was like, I think I might have to charge you this time. I'm joking, y'all, but I mean, that everything he's saying, he's genuine about what he's saying. He's really interested in helping you, the members and potential people that reach out to him that want to get their credit together, because the overall point of this is, having your personal credit and having your business credit, it all goes hand in hand. So, with that being steps for entrepreneurs, you definitely want to reach out to Mr. Andrew Smith and Trinity Solutions. Drew, once again, man, I salute you. I appreciate you coming on, allowing Sosa and I to ask you these questions, man. And you've always been transparent and always a great guest. So, with that being said, man, Sosa, if you got any, remarks for Drew.
Yes. I just same thing, man. I just want to say thank you, for blessing our listeners and our audience with the jewels that you dropped today. I mean, we learned quite a few things today. We learned about a HELOC. We learned about them between when you're going for business credit, between a line of credit, a credit card, and a loan, and how hard it is to teach each one. We learned that, hey, pay to deletion. That's something you want to start looking at. It's something that we don't talk a lot about, but that's something we want to start looking at. So definitely, our entrepreneur members, our constituents, definitely give this brother a ring. Reach out to this brother. I can tell you wholeheartedly, he's a man of integrity. He's a man of his word, and he is here to try to help, bridge this gap. So, we just want to put the floor to you, Drew. Just let our listeners, give them whatever contact information that you need, so therefore they can get a hold of you.
I appreciate that. You can go find us online, TrinitySolutionsUSA.com. That's our website. See more stuff about us. If you want to get in contact with me directly, I can get the office number I can give you, but anybody that's in the chamber, anybody that's, I guess it's hearing this right now, that's a select few. I'll give you my personal information. Shoot me a text. We can set up a personal conversation and see exactly what's on the report and what needs to be done to get you to your dreams. If you have any issues, you're a part of the chamber, shoot me a text. We'll see what we need to do to get you where you need to be. All right.
Perfect.
I appreciate you.
Perfect. That's perfect. And you know what, Drew, before we let you go, there is one last thing that we want to do, good brother. Something we ask all our lists, all our guests, and we certainly would be doing a disjustice to our listeners if we didn't get asked this question to you, my good friend. Okay, our top 5 question. The categories are hip hop, movie, hip hop, or actually it could be music, movies, or entertainment. What's your top 5? Pick a category first.
All right, let me go. Movies.
All right, movies. We haven't had that in a while. What's your top 5 movies, my good brother, Mr. Andrew?
Oh man, top 5 movies. Casino, Goodfellas. Let's get them 2 out the way. I'm the world's biggest Friday fan. Django's good too. Throw Django in there at number 5. I'm a fan of Django. No.
Throw Django in there.
Throw Django in there. Number 5.
I helped him with his top 5.
You did, man. I appreciate that. That's what steel sharpens steel, man. I appreciate that. No, don't forget. They're all mild.
Well, we'll let you slide on that. We'll let you slide on that. But there you go. For all our entrepreneur chamber members, constituents, and our listeners, this was a great episode. I hope you've been enlightening. And as always, we always like to say, continue to empower us so we can help empower you.
Peace all and be victorious.
Appreciate you. Take care.